The legend of the beer-drinking elephant. In 1796, the seaport town of Salem, Massachusetts, was accustomed to the cries of devil and Satan's child. This was, after all, the town infamous for its witch trials. Yet on this particular morning, no one would have blamed the townsfolk for their alarm as they watched the good ship America unload its cargo. As the ship's hull was emptied, a strange and terrifying sight emerged, causing the gathered crowd to gasp in horror. The last item hoisted from the ship was an enormous creature. Unlike anything they had ever seen, a 16-foot-long elephant known as Old Bet was being lowered to the dock. Her anger was palpable. Old Bet had spent nearly 3 months at sea, confined and poorly cared for by inexperienced elephant keepers. The young master of the ship, Jacob Crowninshield, had taken an order for the elephant from an American entrepreneur who expected to buy the beast for $450 and sell it for up to $10,000. But this enterprise was in jeopardy. Most of the crew had never seen an elephant before this voyage, and they had no idea how to care for one. Old Bet ran out of water, and in their desperation, the well-meaning mariners let her drink the only other liquid on board: beer. Barrels and barrels of it. She consumed up to 30 barrels of beer a day. As Old Bet was lowered to the ground, confused and disoriented, it was clear to everyone that she was not just a wild animal. She was positively livid with an elephant-sized hangover. But this was not the end of her travels. Waiting to greet her was her new owner, Hachaliah Bailey, an ancestor of the famous circus family. He had purchased a half stake in Old Bet and planned to exhibit her throughout the eastern states. At first, she resisted moving, but Bailey enticed her with a cartload of beer. As long as he supplied her with suds, Old Bet was happy to tour with her new master. Bailey's 6-month tour came to an end, and it was time for his partner to take over. He walked Old Bet through the fields and delivered her to his associate. However, when Bailey returned 6 months later for his share of the profits, his partner, a heavy drinker himself, claimed there was no profit to share. He complained that Old Bet's drinking had bankrupted him. Furious, Bailey picked up a gun and aimed it at the elephant. His partner struggled with him, insisting Bailey had no right to shoot their elephant. Bailey coolly responded that he only intended to shoot his half. Terrified, the partner handed over what money he had, and the experience forged an unbreakable bond between Bailey and Old Bet. They traveled together for many more years, bringing in money from small communities across the eastern states. That was until they stopped at the picturesque village of Alfred, Maine. One misty morning, a farmer working in the field near the town saw an enormous shape moving closer. In fear for his life, he ran for his shotgun, charged back across the road, and fired 3 times. Old Bet, grazing peacefully, slid down a steep embankment into a clay pit and died. Bailey was heartbroken. He immediately sought out the judge and demanded charges be brought against the man. However, the judge, a city man, dismissed the case, saying, "Nothing that big or that ugly deserves to walk on the face of God's earth." Bailey returned to Somers, New York, where he built a hotel called the Elephant Hotel in honor of his old friend. Underneath its grand sign, he erected a statue of Old Bet, ensuring she would never be forgotten. But Old Bet's story didn't end there. A year after her death, another circus owner dug up her remains and brought them back to New York, using her bones to draw crowds once more. Recently, a paleontologist studying the area around Alfred excitedly claimed to have discovered prehistoric mastodon remains in a nearby clay pit. The locals laughed, knowing Old Bet had simply given one final performance. If you enjoyed this wild and dramatic story about the beer-drinking elephant, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more amazing tales and content. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more incredible stories.